Hi, Dr. Mark Agresti. I want to talk about cravings. A craving is the desire to do something. I'm going to focus on cravings which are self destructive and how to avoid them. That is the topic we're going to talk about today. What are the big cravings that we're worried about? Well, drugs, alcohol, food, sex, and gambling. Those are the big ones in my practice, and that pretty much encompasses all the cravings that I think most people are worried about. What's the first step in dealing with cravings? Well, prevention. If you're going to place yourself in a situation or be with someone or around something which will create a craving, that's no good. Prevent that. For example, if you're trying to stop using marijuana, it's probably not a good idea to get in a car with three of your friends who you've smoked marijuana with before, who are going to watch Infinity's Endgame, and they're going to get high before they go to the movie. That was a patient who came in this morning, and I'm like, hello, you're going to get high. Oh, no, I won't. I'll be okay. No, you're going to create an unbearable craving by stepping in that car with everyone smoking, going to Infinity Endgame. I had another patient come in this morning. He goes, well, I'm meeting all my friends at the bar and we're going to play darts. I said, probably not a good idea. You're going to meet someone or a group of people who are going to drink and then play darts. That's not something you can do without having an intense craving. Think about it. What are they doing? They're drinking and playing darts. You're not going to be able to engage in that activity without drinking. So the people we choose to be around. Now, if you think you're going to meet a friend for lunch and that friend always orders fattening things, well, guess what? You're most likely going to order fattening things. So we see that people can cause cravings, and we want to prevent that so we avoid people who engage in things we don't want to do. Places. Well, if you don't want to eat fattening food, don't go to McDonald's. If you don't want to use alcohol, don't go to a bar. If you don't want to get high, don't go to a place where people get high. Things. This is more difficult. I had someone who, every time they see a CD holder, the plastic holder, thinks of drugs because that's what they used to crush their cocaine up with. I see someone who, every time they see $100 bill, thinks they're going to snort cocaine. Things can trigger us. Certain people look at certain paraphernalia or look at glasses for drinking, or they look at their iPad and they think, I'm going to do internet gambling. So people, places, and things trigger off our gambling, our addiction, our alcohol, our food consumption. You may look at a cookie jar in your house and think, I want to eat cookies. Well, get rid of the cookie jar. Don't keep cookies around. Things will trigger you off. Anything that triggers off your drug use, don't keep around. A box where you kept the drugs, plastic baggies, don't keep that stuff around. It will trigger you off. Okay, granted, we can prevent a lot of cravings, but we can't totally stop them. Even without people, places, and things, for unclear reasons to me, but thoughts will just appear in the mind. Our mind is not all encompassing of elective thoughts. Thoughts we don't wish to be there suddenly appear. If you don't think that's true, close your eyes and say, I won't think about anything. Thoughts will come to your mind. It's the unconscious mind at work. And the unconscious mind, for no reason, could make you have cravings. I've had people not use cocaine for 20 years, and all of a sudden they're driving on a street where they used to buy cocaine, or they just are driving on a highway and start thinking about cocaine. I've had people who haven't had a drink go by a Walgreens that has a liquor store and stop. So they come out of the blue. The key thing here is what you have to do is acknowledge it. Say, okay, this is an official craving. I'm in trouble. I've acknowledged my craving, and I realize now my defense mechanisms for that craving must kick into place. The first part, the way you sort of defend against or attack or prevent the craving from taking over and controlling behavior, is saying, let me look at the consequences of that behavior. First thought you come to your mind. If I do that, I will relapse on alcohol, and I know where that's going to take me, into destructive land. If I relapse on cocaine, barbiturates, amphetamines, benzodiazepines, heroin, or you're going to relapse on food or cake or cookies, or you're going to relapse with compulsive gambling, or start calling prostitutes because you have a sex addiction. Look at the consequences and figure out where that's going to take you. Now, that may not be enough. Where does your mind have to go? You need to know one critical fact. All cravings pass in 20 minutes. With that in mind, now you go into a mode called distraction. We talked about prevention. We talked about if you do everything you can to prevent it, then if it does happen, even if you've done everything to prevent it, because they can come out of the blue, you start thinking about the consequences. Now you go into delay mode. So prevent, acknowledge, consequences, delay. You need to wait 20 minutes. Now what can you do? You must distract yourself. Physically, whatever you're doing, stop doing it and do something else. If you're watching TV, if you're in some behavior, change the behavior. Start doing some exercise, engage in some project, take a shower. One of the best things you can do is get on the phone and call someone. Reading is good. It's all consuming. It forces you, to read and enter into that book. TV does not work. Social media does not work. Those two are out. So if you want to distract your mind, those are too passive of behaviors. It must be active. Reading is active. Talking on the phone is active. Showering, exercising, moving your body into something new, or trying to clean up or engaging in some project that has a beginning, middle, and end where you can see results of something you've done. This is my quick little video on what to do with cravings and how I counsel patients. You can get more on how I work with people in my book, Tales from the Couch, on Amazon.com. Thank you, Dr. Mark Agresti.